where metaphysics is not speculative theology, but demonstrative assent, where the human intellect is not trapped in the finite, but made to seek the infinite source of all that is.
Welcome to Bookscape Epic Reads, where we dive deep into the world of popular books, exploring timeless classics and modern bestsellers alike. Join us for in-depth reviews, insightful discussions, reflections. Let roll.
For nature is not mute, it sings with the voice of wisdom. And physics, when rightly understood, is the art of listening to that sacred song. In the ancient world, mathematics was never seen as a dry exercise in calculation. It was a form of spiritual contemplation, a path to the divine. For Ibn Sina, this tradition lives on, not merely preserved but elevated. Mathematics, in Al-Najah, is not simply a tool. It is a mirror of reality, a gateway through which the soul glimpses the architecture of existence. Mathematics, he tells us, belongs to that noble class of knowledge which concerns immutable truths. Unlike physics, which deals with change, and contingency, or ethics, which navigates the mutable will. Mathematics deals with forms so pure, so abstract, that they resemble divine ideas. Numbers, magnitudes, ratios, they are not inventions of man, but discoveries of eternal relations that underpin the fabric of the cosmos. Ibn Sina divides mathematics into its traditional branches: arithmetic, the study of number; geometry, the study of continuous magnitudes; astronomy, the study of the heavens; and music, the study of proportion in time. But unlike the modern mind, which often views these as separate disciplines, Ibn Sina sees them as four faces of a single mystery, the mystery of order. Consider arithmetic. At first glance, it seems the most mundane. But within numbers lies the secret of unity and multiplicity, the metaphysical tension between the one and the many. The number one is not just a starting point, it is a symbol of the necessary existent, while all other numbers represent emanations, reflections of unity through multiplicity. This is Neoplatonic metaphysics in numerical form. Geometry, meanwhile, gives form to these numbers. In line and circle, triangle and sphere, we encounter not just spatial relations, but patterns of perfection. The circle, in particular, endless, self-contained, equidistant from its center, is a symbol of the divine intellect, the perfect expression of form without flaw. Astronomy then extends this geometry into the heavens. The stars and planets move, according to precise mathematical laws, forming a celestial symphony that reflects the order of divine providence. Their motions are not random. They are inscriptions of wisdom, legible only to those who can read the mathematical script of the cosmos. And then there is music, perhaps the most mysterious of all. For Ibn Sina, music is the audible mathematics of the soul. Its harmonies are not merely aesthetic pleasures, but manifestations of ratios and proportions that echo the harmony of the heavens. When the soul resonates with musical intervals, it is remembering its origin in the harmonious whole. Music is both science and revelation. It allows us to feel, not just know, the beauty of divine order. Through these four sciences, Ibn Sina brings us into contact with a vision of the world where mathematics is not reductionist, but revelatory. He shows us that the world is not a chaotic swirl of particles, but a structured and knowable reality, a cosmos. And within that cosmos, number is not an abstraction. It is a divine signature. For this reason, the study of mathematics is not only intellectually edifying, it is spiritually transformative. The more the soul contemplates number, form, and proportion, the more it aligns itself with the intelligible order of the universe. And through that alignment, the soul prepares itself for the higher sciences, for metaphysics, theology, and ultimately, for the return to the One. Mathematics, then, is not merely an instrument for science or engineering. It is a ladder for the soul. Ibn Sina invites us to ascend it, to see in every equation a reflection of unity, in every ratio, a gesture toward balance, and in every structure, the echo of a deeper truth. a truth that does not change, because it was never born. Such is the mathematics of Al-Najah. Not just knowledge, vision, not just technique, the trace of the divine. At the heart of all philosophical inquiry lies a single burning question. Why is there something rather than nothing? In Al-Najah, Ibn Sina responds not with speculation, but with a system, logical, luminous, and metaphysically revolutionary. His metaphysics is no mere academic exercise. It is a journey that begins with the world of finite things and culminates in the recognition of the necessary existent, that which must be, and through which all else is. We begin with the world as we experience it, full of things that come into being and pass away, that rely on conditions, that exist only under certain circumstances. These are what Ibn Sina calls mumkin al-wujud, contingent beings. A tree, a thought, a galaxy, even a soul. They exist, but they do not exist necessarily. Their being is not from themselves. It is borrowed, dependent. But reason demands that we cannot have an infinite regress of contingent causes. If every being requires another to bring it into existence, then what stands at the beginning? What is the anchor that holds the entire chain of existence in place? Here, Ibn Sina offers the core of his metaphysical insight. There must exist a being whose essence is to be, a being that is not contingent, not dependent, but whose very nature is existence itself. This is the wajib al-wujud, the necessary existent. This being is not composed, because all composition requires parts and causes. It is absolutely one, because multiplicity implies limitation. It is eternal, uncaused, self-sufficient. It cannot not exist, and from this necessary existent, all that exists flows forth, not in time, not in physical process, but in the eternal order of being. This is not mere theology hidden in the cloak of reason. It is demonstrative metaphysics. Ibn Sina proves the necessary existent by showing the impossibility of any alternative. He makes metaphysics a rigorous science, one that begins with being, wujud, distinguishes between essence and existence, and ascends to the threshold of the divine. But he goes further. The necessary existent is not just a remote cause. It is also intellect, goodness, life. It knows itself perfectly, and in knowing itself, it knows all things. For Ibn Sina, God is not a person in the sky, but the absolute actuality of being and knowing, the one from whom all multiplicity radiates. And through emanation, the chain of being unfolds, from the first intellect to the celestial spheres, to the active intellect, and finally to the human soul. Each level reflects divine light in proportion to its capacity, like mirrors arranged beneath the sun. The cosmos is not random. It is a hierarchy of intelligibility, a ladder of light descending from the necessary to the possible. Within this ladder stands the human being. And here lies the metaphysical paradox. Though we are contingent, we are also capable of knowing the necessary. Though finite, our intellect has the power to reach beyond the world of becoming, toward the one who simply is. In this ascent, metaphysics becomes mysticism, not through emotion, but through understanding. Not through faith alone, but through the disciplined clarity of reason awakened by wonder. To contemplate being is to be drawn inevitably toward that which makes all being possible. In Al-Najah, Ibn Sina gives us not just an argument, but a vision of reality. A vision where God is not an afterthought, but the first principle. Where metaphysics is not speculative theology, but demonstrative assent. Where the human intellect is not trapped in the finite, but made to seek the infinite source of all that is. Thus, metaphysics is not the end of the journey. It is its highest peak. The summit from which the soul sees, even if dimly, the radiance of the real. This is not just philosophy. This is intellectual worship. To ask what is to be led step by step to the one answer that silences all further asking, the necessary existent. the one without which nothing could be.
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.